As HBO trudges ahead with its high-profile reboot of the Harry Potter series, most major roles have now been cast, including the announcement of 9 major roles just this week. However, one decision continues to dominate online discourse: the casting of Papa Essiedu as Severus Snape. From the moment the announcement went public, the backlash has been unrelenting. While other casting choices have sparked minor debates, such as the updated portrayal of Hermione Granger, Essiedu's selection as Snape has received disproportionately heated responses across all platforms. And now a rumour is throwing more fuel on the fire, that HBO may be preparing to recast Snape altogether. The rumour. Over the last week or so, a rumour has emerged and spread rapidly across fan forums, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube comment sections, including my own. One particularly large Harry Potter fan account, known as Harry Potter Universe, with nearly 500,000 followers, posted the following on June 7th. There is a rumour floating out there that Papa Essiedu, who was cast to play Snape in the Harry Potter TV series, may be recast and will not play Snape anymore. This has not been confirmed, and is just a rumour as of now. I hope this rumour ends up being true, and that they cast someone else who actually looks like Snape. From what I've heard, Essiedu is a fantastic actor, but he does not resemble Snape at all, which is a massive problem. While watching the series, I personally would not be able to convince myself that he is Snape, because there is no resemblance to how Snape is described in the books, and that's a big issue considering how important Snape's role in the story is. Instead, why not cast him in a different role? He's a great actor, and I could see him playing Kingsley Shacklebolt, for example. He would be perfect, and it's a role that makes complete sense. We will see what happens. And this message, along with variations of it, seems to be floating around a number of Harry Potter fan pages, which of course means I'm either reporting potential news or just contributing to the potential problem of spreading misinformation. Notably, none of the resources provide a source. There is also no confirmation of any of this from HBO, Warner Bros, or any verified media outlet. But despite the lack of evidence, the speculation seems to be gaining an enormous amount of traction. The rumour also carries an editorial slant. Many fans hope it's true. Posts often add that Essiedu is a great actor, but that he simply does not resemble the Snape described in the books. Some go further, suggesting he be recast in a different role, most often Kingsley Shacklebolt, a black aura who appears later in the series. The roots. To understand the backlash, it's essential to distinguish between two types of criticism. Some fans argue from a book accuracy standpoint, citing Snape's described appearance, sallow skin, greasy black hair, hooked nose, as not aligning with Essiedu's. Others take issue with the casting more broadly, framing it as a form of forced diversity. It's worth noting that criticism of Hermione's casting in the stage play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, followed a similar pattern. But the vitriol surrounding Essiedu's casting appears significantly more intense, most likely due to the fact that the reboot was advertised as book accurate. Even fans who identify as progressive have voiced discomfort with the casting decision, suggesting that while diversity is important, Snape may not be the right character through which to pursue that aim. Specifically, the decision to cast a black actor as Snape might affect how certain elements of the story are perceived, because like it or not, Snape's role in the narrative involves themes of prejudice, marginalization, and being treated as an outsider. And casting someone from a historically marginalized group brings a whole new layer of meaning to that dynamic. There's also the camp of he was never described as white in the books, but that claim is a little outrageous because it can be easily refuted. Snape is supposed to be a bit of a mess, conventionally unattractive, greasy jet black hair, pale complexion, and Essiedu doesn't fit any of these descriptors. He's a good-looking guy that couldn't look further than what book-accurate Snape is actually supposed to look like. He doesn't have long greasy black hair, yellow teeth, pale skin, a hooked nose, or any of the physical traits that embody Snape. If you need any further clarification on what Snape is supposed to look like, then look no further than the original Snape illustrations from both Rowling and Mary Grand Prix. Reassignment. People don't seem to have a problem with Essiedu himself, it's more the role that he's been allocated, and a common refrain among critics is that Essiedu should remain part of the series, but be cast in a role that makes more sense, such as Kingsley Shacklebolt. Kingsley Shacklebolt is one of the few prominent black characters in the original series, a competent and respected aura who eventually becomes Minister for Magic. However, he doesn't appear until Book 5, which could mean Essiedu wouldn't show up until Season 5 or later, assuming the show follows the books chronologically. Furthermore, reassigning Essiedu after offering him the role of a lifetime would be a devastating professional blow. I can only imagine how much that would sting. To shuffle him into a supporting role years into the project, after originally being cast as Snape, would be an extraordinary demotion, and one that I expect could haunt both his career and the integrity of the series itself. HBO's Dilemma. HBO now finds itself in a difficult position. On one hand, a large portion of the fan base is loudly calling for the role to be recast, even threatening to boycott the series. On the other, removing Essiedu at this stage, after contracts have been signed and the role publicly announced, would raise serious ethical, reputational, and possibly legal issues. It's a lose-lose situation that could have been avoided with more foresight. And here's part of the problem. By making only a handful of visible casting changes while keeping the majority of characters largely aligned with their traditional depictions, Essiedu's Snape stands out, not as part of a bold, unified creative reimagining, but as a glaring exception. This inconsistency undermines both the credibility of the casting choice and the integrity of the overall vision. If the show had fully committed to a broader reimagining of the cast, this wouldn't be an issue. But instead, Essiedu is left bearing the weight of that creative dissonance. The rumour. Let me clarify that as of today, June 9th, there is no reliable evidence that Essiedu is being removed from the show. J.K. Rowling herself has previously stated that she has no authority to fire cast members, and that even if she did, she wouldn't remove him. The reality is simple. Essiedu remains cast as Snape, and there is no indication from HBO that this will change. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, Papa Essiedu's casting is never not going to be controversial. If they removed him today, there'd be controversy, and if they decide to keep him, there will inevitably be controversy. And in this respect, fans will need to decide for themselves what matters most: visual fidelity to the books, or the reinterpretation of a character who can bring their own depth and talent to the role. And that's the crossroads we're standing at. I get the sense that most fans prioritize accuracy: long, greasy black hair, hooked nose, sallow skin, and a looming bat-like presence. That's the Snape described by Rowling, and for them, anything less feels like a betrayal of what was promised, a so-called faithful adaptation. Others are more open to evolution. They argue that an actor like Essiedu, respected, talented, and capable of delivering the emotional complexity required for a role like Snape, might not visually match the text, but could still be Snape in all the ways that matter. Personally, I'm not happy about the Snape casting, mainly because the series was heavily marketed as a faithful, book-accurate adaptation. But make no mistake, I'll still be watching. I'm still a Harry Potter fan, and I'm still excited by the potential of the show. That said, I've shifted my perspective. I'm no longer clinging to the idea of a completely faithful adaptation, because that promise has already been broken. Instead, I'm approaching it as a reimagining. Honestly, if I don't adopt that mindset, I think it'll only sour the experience. What do you all think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live